Jared Parry, Boxing Social, in association with Forged Irish Stout and Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined by Ben Shalom here in Cardiff. Second boxer show you've had back here now. It's another big one, world title fight. Jessica McCaskill against Lauren Price, a fight you've had from a pro debut. How do you see this one going?
Look, I can't tell you. I think the more it gets closer, the more we realise we've taken on a real test here. It's a serious test. It's a 7th fight, and you're fighting someone that's never lost in this weight division. Her 11th world title fight. She knows what she's doing. Her defeat against Chantel Cameron, I think, since seeing what Chantel's gone on to do, even Sandy Ryan, the draw, and seeing what she did to Terry Harper, this is a really tough fight. And I think the opportunity for me to fight in Cardiff, to fight against a name like Jessica McCaskill, just became too much, and that's why we're taking on the test. But it really is a test.
That's what Lauren's been saying all week. She's really happy that she's coming in against a legitimate champion, someone who's really proven themselves. Like you said there, Chantel Cameron, Sandy Ryan, Katie Taylor, Cecilia Breakhouse is all on the resume of Jessica McCaskill. You know, just how delighted are you to get this big a fight over the line for Lauren's basically biggest night in her homecoming?
Look, when the interest that Lauren creates in Wales, I don't think a lot of us realise in England. She's a national hero. She really is, and she's a flag bearer. It's not often you sign a fighter that's already got an MBE, that's already got a gold medal, became the first Welsh boxer to ever win gold. She means a lot here, and I think the opportunity to fight for a world title, obviously absolutely delighted to get it over the line, delighted to get it in her hometown. Yes, it's early. Yes, it's a huge test. But if you look at Lauren's career, not just in boxing but her life, she constantly overcomes the odds. She constantly breaks records. She constantly does things that haven't been done before. And that's what Saturday night is all about.
On a personal standpoint for yourself, I believe this will be the first fighter you've taken from debut to world title. How much would that stand in your list of achievements?
It's massive. I think the ones that you start with, you really there's a special connection because you're starting together, and a lot of these fighters, I was starting as a promoter, they're starting as a fighter, we're working it out together, and so to get to the pinnacle of the sport is very special. Everyone's on the same journey, on a different journey. Caroline Dubois came out the traps really quickly and has announced herself as a huge star and will fight for a world title as well this year. Ben Whittaker had that difficult start, but now it's blown up to superstar status really. Fraser Clark has his own route and now announced himself really on the big scene. So Carrie Sartingstall will be the next one. So it's definitely a very special feeling. It's to do it this early on is pretty impressive.
You mentioned Ben Whittaker there, as fighter on this card, Louis Edmondson, who's been calling for that fight. Obviously now Ben Whittaker's taking on Aaron Ecker in Selhurst Park on June 15th. Was there any ever talk of having Edmondson and Whittaker happen?
Yes, but everyone wants to fight Ben Whittaker. So there's going to be talks about every fighter calling him out, and at his stage of the career, it's just about taking the right step, different types of opponents, for him to showcase the biggest shows, for him to showcase his talents, and the way he's come along is pretty special so far, and we'll continue to choose his opponents and keep him active. I mean, his activity really is what has been the key to success. And will those fights happen down the line? Absolutely. I'm very, very fond of Louis, so it's great to see him out and developing as well. But everyone calls out Ben Whittaker.
Talking of the card that Ben Whittaker will be on, Chris Billam-Smith, Richard Riakporhe 2. I believe the first fight that was shown on Sky live on the Boxer contract was Richard Riakporhe, and now you're taking him to his dream venue for a world title shot against a man he's already beaten, but a lot's changed in them years. And obviously Chris Billam-Smith went down a different path and became world champion. How delighted are you to get that fight over the line and just a word on that fight really?
No, that's an interesting start. I think you're right. I think he was fought in an 8-rounder, and it was probably 2.5 years ago now. So for him to now be fighting for a world title in his stadium is special. That's what we're focused on. Is the boxers that we sign, we have to deliver for him. And you look at Richard being able to do that. Chris Billam-Smith got to do that last year in his hometown of Bournemouth and sell out a stadium. Yeah, it's a huge show. It's a huge night for both of them. It's a special event. It's a 50-50 fight. There's not many domestic world titles. that we get these days, and so to be able to put on a show like that, I have to thank Steve Parrish and Crystal Palace. It will be the British boxing show of the summer. Dan Azeez got added to the card this week, and it's a special card for us. And yeah, two guys that have done amazing things for us as a promotional company coming together and putting it all on the line.
Just a word on Dan Azeez. What sort of opponent can we expect on June 15th?
Look, he's obviously coming back off the first of his defeat, and the key is just to keep him active. He wants to, I think, if anything, that's giving him the reality check of where he's at, but also the confidence that he can go to and win a world title. I still believe he's got a huge say in that division. He's had to fast track his career in many ways in the professional game, and he's come through the real hard way. He got to the Buatsi fight, just came up short, but it's someone that, as many know, we work extremely closely with. I'm very proud to represent. Key is activity, getting him back, and then he'll be right in the mix. I love the Lyndon Arthur fight, and I think that's the obvious fight for him next.
Sticking with the light heavyweight division, obviously, and Dan Azeez, his last opponent, Joshua Buatsi, was victorious that night. There was meant to be an undisputed fight in the light heavyweight division between Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. Unfortunately, Beterbiev picked up an injury. Was there ever contact from yourself to put Joshua Buatsi into that position?
Yeah, look, I did send a message to George. Obviously, it's their prerogative because obviously he's putting on the show on June the 1st. But Josh is ready, and Josh has been ready. We hoped that the Yard fight would be announced by now, as everyone knows, and we will be announcing something for him this month.
Is there any update on the Anthony Yard situation?
Not really, other than that we live in hope. Obviously, we're getting so many domestic fights over the line at the moment that it's a real shame not to have seen that one get over the line as well. And I still think it's the fight the fans want to see. I still think it's the fight that everyone wants. So hopefully it gets worked out. But if not, in the meantime, we are looking at other opportunities now.
A fighter we've seen become a free agent not so long ago, Eubank Jr. His last 4 fights were on Sky. Is there any movement from yourself to try and tie him down to a promotional deal?
Look, everyone will be after Chris. For me, outside of Fury and AJ, he's probably the one that moves the dial. There's not many. Ben Whittaker, I believe, is the next one. I believe he's already up there. Chris is a great guy. We've really enjoyed working with him. I think it all seemed to come together in that second fight against Liam Smith with Brian McIntyre. So I'd actually like to see him active. I'd actually like to see him consistent now and hopefully win a world title. I think, but every promoter will be after him, and every broadcaster will want him.
Just to sort of bring it back full circle, we were talking about stadium fights earlier. You've delivered Chris Billam-Smith his dream stadium fight at Vitality Stadium, Richard Riakporhe, Selhurst Park. This press conference, we're here at Cardiff City Stadium. Obviously, Lauren Price, not only a fan, she's also played for Cardiff City. She's telling me yesterday she had many games on the pitch. Is that a goal for you to bring back a homecoming to this stadium for Lauren Price later on in her career?
I think seeing how big she is in Wales is like, you have to almost stand back, and it's like, wow, we didn't. If I'm honest, did I expect it to sell the way it has done? I thought it's the first one. We've done it with other fighters. We've seen Savannah in Newcastle and Natasha Jonas in Liverpool. There's other female fighters that have built incredibly well. I didn't expect the level of interest. It is pretty phenomenal. The fact that it's going to be on BBC Wales in every home. I mean, you have to think back to like Eubank Ben days for Freeview, world title fights like that where everyone is watching. I think it's possible. I really do. I think she can do it. I think we look at Katie Taylor and the legacy that she's had in Ireland. That's what we want to do with Lauren Price. Obviously, Saturday night's a huge night for that, but the interest is there. The hero status is there, and the way the Welsh get behind their fans is like no other.
You mentioned Tasha Jonas here, obviously world champion in the welterweight division also. It was a very close fight, Mikaela at the start of the year. Would you like to run that one back, or would you like to see her maybe step in with the winner of this fight?
Look, massive options, great options. We've already been trying to make that rematch. We have. It's a huge fight, and was an amazing fight, the first one. So we'll see what happens over the next week or two. But that's a big fight. But this division is pretty special. These two. You've got Sandy, you've got Tasha, you've got Mikaela. It's probably the best division, I think, in the sport right now. And so to be adding another star into the mix with Lauren, a lot of big fights to be made, and I know Lauren will want those fights as well.
Just a final message really to all the Welsh fans. What can they all expect on Saturday night, and how do you see the fight playing out yourself?
Look, for the Welsh fans, I just hope you really get behind Lauren. What she's doing so early on in the career is unprecedented. She really is an icon over here. But for boxing fans, this is just a 50-50 fight. This is a real fight. This is Jessica McCaskill who's going to stick it on Lauren from early. And Laura's going to have to show us what she's made of, and we've never seen her in this sort of position. So, yeah, it's someone really trying to achieve her dreams way ahead of schedule. And that's probably what the jeopardy is in Saturday night, and it'll be a great atmosphere, a great event on television, on BBC and on Sky Sports, and another massive night for women's boxing. And to think that we've got women fighters consistently headlining now, it wasn't. I think even 2 years ago, this was unusual. I remember when we headlined with Savannah in Newcastle, and it was almost a lot of raised eyebrows. It was like, really? So to be doing it consistently, we've seen Natasha Jonas doing it so well, Savannah Marshall, they're great for Caroline and Lauren and Caris to be looking at. For Lauren to be doing this now on Saturday, I think we're going to see the announcement of a new star in the sport.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time, Ben Shalom, and we shall catch up with you most likely now after the fight. Thank you very much.